Dave. And for this edition of the 15, we're talking top fives, as in top 5 wide receiver duos in the NFL. And who better to talk about wide receiver duos than a guy who had the responsibility of shutting them down during his playing days. He's not a 2-time Super Bowl champion by accident. Over the course of his 7 seasons in the league, Bryant Mcfadden recorded 9 interceptions, recovered 7 fumbles, recorded over 300 tackles. Given how we've seen the wide receiver position evolve over the past decade, he's probably happier to be on this side of the game than out there trying to stop some of these speed demons that we are about to discuss. Let's now welcome in Bryant Mcfadden. Okay, B-Mac, this offseason, it's the wide receiver position has undergone a massive financial renaissance. We're going to see how it translates on the field very shortly. So take us through your top 5 wide receiver duos going into the 2022 season, starting at the back end with number 5.
Number 5, you got a new face in a new place. Davante Adams playing with the Las Vegas Raiders. Duo paired up with Hunter Renfrow. These two guys are volume guys. When you look at what they combined for over a year ago, 226 receptions, over 2,500 yards, combined for 20 touchdowns. Jeremy, the reason why they're 5th on my list is because we've yet to see Davante Adams catch a professional pass from his new quarterback in Derek Carr. I don't expect to see a huge drop-off like Brett Favre is expected to see with Davante being in a Raiders uniform. But the one concern I have, Jeremy, is how soon will we see that chemistry in place for Davante and Derek Carr. But when you look at these two wide receivers, clearly 2 Pro Bowl type players. One player is considered one of the best in his position at the wide receiver spot X. And then you look at Hunter Renfrow, the slot demon. He causes a lot of terror for opposing defensive backs that's trying to cover him in the slot. I expect phenomenal numbers, but like I said, the reason why I have them 5th is I'm concerned about how soon will we see the rhythm and chemistry between the new wide receiver and his new quarterback in Derek Carr.
And Hunter Renfrow seen as a good slot guy for targets and receptions in fantasy this coming season, with Adams taking some of the double teams. All right, at number 4, 2 guys hoping to do big things up in that NFC North on another team like the Raiders with a new head coach. Who are they?
The Minnesota Vikings. Led by one of the best wide receivers in the game right now in Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen is his partner in crime. I have these guys listed at 4. When you look at Justin Jefferson, he is in that conversation when you talk about the best wide receiver in the game, the second best wide receiver in the game. He is that guy. He has really solidified himself as a proven commodity in the National Football League. And his Robin, who is Adam Thielen. The only knock on Adam Thielen, the reason why I have these guys 4th on my list, we haven't seen Adam Thielen participate in a full season since 2018. We've seen some injuries that caused him to miss some time. But when he has been healthy, remember a few years ago, he was an all-pro-like player, a consistent Pro Bowl player, especially in the red zone. Adam Thielen is a guy that can do numbers, but he is right there behind Justin Jefferson as the number 2 on that team. When you look at the wide receivers, Justin Jefferson is a monster. Like I said, I think he would probably be the best wide receiver in this upcoming season, and I have those guys listed at 4th on my list.
It's going to be interesting to see if he can get some more red zone targets. Kirk Cousins is a guy who likes Thielen in that red zone 2 years in a row, so it'll be interesting to see if Jefferson gets some more TD numbers this year. All right, number 3, broken record here. Another team, new head coach, new offensive system. Who are they?
In the game of football, Jeremy, speed kills. And this team, they have a lot of fast guys.
Oof.
But at the wide receiver position, they got 2 of the fastest that can do it in the National Football League. That's the Miami Dolphins. I know I hear the concerns regarding Tua Tagovailoa. Will he be able to get the best out of these 2 players? I think so. But one thing about these 2 guys, when they're on the football field, you automatically respect them. So you might give them a lot of things that you might not give other wide receivers based on how fast they are. And you better believe they will have things in place for both of these guys to be successful. Just a year ago, in his rookie campaign, Jalen Waddle, over 100 receptions, over 1,000 yards. The same can be said for his partner in crime in the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. So these guys, when you talk about speed, they present the element of fear instantly when they walk on the football field, and it's going to be entertaining for us as fans to watch, but devastating for players that are going against those guys and trying to stop them from doing numbers.
B-Mac, are you expecting Greatest Show on Turf 2.0 here?
Ooh, maybe. You know what I mean? When you look at what they have, what they've added, Raheem Mostert, you got Edmonds. They got fast guys after fast guy. Don't forget about Cedric Wilson as well, who they added from the Dallas Cowboys. He is their number 3. You got Gesicki at the tight end position. They got some notable names offensively. And like I said, this should be it better be an entertaining year for Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins.
All right, at number 2, a youngster who burst onto the scene last year and had people comparing him to a GOAT right out of the gate, and they almost won the Super Bowl. Give us the pair.
Cincinnati, the Bengals, right? My goodness, Jamar Chase. He is my version of Jimmy Smith, a very, very strong guy at the point of attack. He knows how to create separation. He can provide explosive plays. He's a do-it-all type of wide receiver. But quietly, his partner in crime, T. Higgins, had over 70 receptions for over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns under the radar because everyone was talking about Jamar Chase. Both guys rank in the top 10 of wide receivers in catches of more than 20 yards. They are splash-like players. Both guys combined for 163 yards per ball game receiving. And both guys are under 24. Man, the future is extremely bright. Make sure you wear your shades in Cincinnati, even during the fall, because these two guys have bright futures. And because of what they did a year ago and the expectations for this upcoming season, I have them number 2 on my list.
B-Mac, you expecting a bump in both of their numbers, given that they've had a year together and Joe Burrow there as well?
Yes, and the reason why I expect to see an increase in numbers, the offensive line. They should be better. Heck, they can't get any worse. I mean, we saw Joe Burrow get sacked 9 times in the playoff game, and they still won. They invested a lot of money in draft capital into that offensive line unit. So one would think if Joe has more time, you better believe these two guys will be the recipient of big-time passes coming from Mr. Joe Cool Burrow.
All right, B-Mac, we're at number 1. The thing that struck me here is that this duo, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, not so much about the guys as much as it is about the guy throwing to them. Give it to us.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Captain America, Tom Brady, is the quarterback for these two guys, and I'm going right down to Tampa, Florida. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and I know I'm hearing people say, wait a minute, Chris Godwin tore his ACL in, week 15 or something like that? I'm not concerned with ACLs. Guys are bouncing back faster from ACL injuries than high ankle sprain injuries, so he should be okay. But when you factor in Tom Brady threw 43 touchdowns a year ago, 19 came to this duo alone. These guys are big-time playmakers, and Mike Evans is the guy who can take the top off the coverage. He is a splash play, a big-time playmaker for their offense. Red zone production he also provides, and Chris Godwin provides red zone production as well. And Chris Godwin, when it comes to moving the chains, he is the ideal guy when it comes to being able to convert big-time first downs for their offense. But number 12 is the guy that gets things going. And these two guys, especially when healthy, in my opinion, they are the best wide receiver duo for this upcoming season.
B-Mac producer Jack is saying he knows why he loves you. Knows why he loves you. All right, let's get to that. Let's get to that Geico 15. Let's wrap it up. 15 seconds, B-Mac, 15 or less. Tell us which of these wide receivers you would not want to cover.
Jeremy, that's easy. Tyreek Hill. The reason why, he's a Ferrari and I'm a Grand Marquis.
All right, B-Mac. What about Jalen Waddle?
And he's fast also. He's a Ferrari, but
that's
Tyreek Hill's a different Ferrari.
I got you.
Yeah.
It's better to watch from the couch, right?
And Jeremy, have you ever seen a Grand Marquis and a Ferrari on the road together?
In South Florida, of course I have.
Yeah. You have? You seen a Grand Marquis and a Ferrari side by side?
Oh, well, I know one is a lot faster than the other. I do know that.
Yeah, I never seen that. And there's a reason why, because Grand Marquis are not